The NFL season is almost here, so it's time to talk NFL Survivor Pools. We'll break down the key Week 1 games and make our Week 1 NFL Survivor picks. We'll also tell you how to join our FFC free-to-enter Survivor Pool with a $300 prize pool. And it's all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee.
And I'm Michael Wiley, and we're the Fantasy Football Consultants. Eric, pretty exciting stuff going on right now as we're getting the season started. But I want to call out what just happened. You and Gary got contacted by RotoWire, and I think you even showed up on one of their shows. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're very thankful for RotoWire. We hosted them. It was a nice collaboration, and we were on their channel where we talked a little bit about an NFL Survivor, the topic of this video, but we also went detail into preparing for your fantasy football draft, including analyzing the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver tiers. And we even got into, at the beginning, the discussion of how far do you drop on your draft list, Jonathan Taylor, given his news. I will put a link to that video in the description, and I will link to it at the end of the video. But Michael, we listened to our viewers. They said, we love your NFL Survivor content. So it is back as a weekly show. So in the NFL, we're going to be covering NFL Survivor for Week 1. We asked that you put in the description, put in the comment section, your favorite Week 1 Survivor pick and why. And to get us a little help, Michael, we're not going to just make our Survivor analysis just you and me, right?
Eric, as usual, we like to bring on a guest in some of these early phases. We're bringing Aaron Dean on again. You guys might know him. Welcome, Aaron.
Hey, thanks, guys. Pleasure to be back.
All right, so let's look at the 8 games we think you should be considering for Week 1. These are the 8 largest spreads. Baltimore's at home, 10-point favorites over Houston. Washington, 7 points at home over Arizona. 2 6.5-point favorites, Kansas City versus Detroit, and Minnesota over Tampa Bay. Both of those teams are at home. And then 3 teams are 4.5-point favorites. Seattle is home against the Rams, but 2 road 4.5-point favorites are Philadelphia at New England and Jacksonville at the Indianapolis Colts. But I want to start with your guys' team. The insult that they are on this list, right? Your Las Vegas Raiders are underdogs, 4 points at Denver. What do you guys think about this game?
I think this game, to be honest with you, is a game that I would definitely stay away from. It's a rivalry game. There's a lot on the line, I think, more for the Raiders than even for the Denver Broncos. They may not have a great running game. You know, Russell Wilson didn't look fantastic last year. I know he's going to be in a new offense this year, but is Sean Payton going to let him run around? That stuff that Russell Wilson really excelled doing, or is he going to force him to kind of be more of a Drew Brees style, sit in the pocket? And that was what he didn't do well last year. There's too many question marks for me with the Denver Broncos to say, yeah, that would definitely be my Survivor pick.
I agree. It's just too early, really, for the Broncos more than anything. The Raiders may have some energy and effort, and Jimmy G may play well right out of the gate. Sometimes he can do that. But really, to me, this is just the question mark on the Broncos this early in the season. And this is always the issue, right? Early on in the season, as we know, the Survivor Week 1 is one of the most important weeks. Oftentimes you will see an upset. And I think this is one that's ripe for that because of the newness of what's going on. I think you hit it right, Aaron, when you said Russell Wilson might be trying to stay in the pocket more than he's capable of being, good in. And that keep him safe, and that's not where he's been strongest.
So when you look at Survivor, we look at 3 things, right? We're looking at the likelihood to win, that's the most important, pick popularity, and future value. And I get that this game has some intrigue because Denver has no future value. They also only less than 2% of the people are picking this game based on the what we see on the internet. So they got 2 of the 3. My problem is I'm not comfortable that they're likely to win. And it's funny, between these 2 teams, it was your Raiders who had the better record last year. It's all this hype under Sean Payton coming in. I want to see a wait and see approach before I put my survivor life on them. Besides the fact that I don't think this team is well received, Denver, because they have no receivers. Tim Patrick is out. KJ Hamler is out. And now Jerry Jeudy is almost surely going to miss the first game. I'm going to leave my pick till the end, but I will tell you it will not be Denver. So we'll move on. We got a slew of 4.5-point games. Let's talk about the one I think that is got the highest pick popularity. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 10-7, going against the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Yes, those same Indianapolis Colts who decided, nah, we don't have to have Jonathan Taylor. It's okay. So he's on the PUP list. So and Zach Moss is out. So I don't know I guess it's going to be Deion Jackson that's running them. Their quarterback is a rookie, and Anthony Richardson. I feel tons more confident with Jacksonville winning than Denver winning. So I want to throw it to you guys.
I think that Jacksonville is going to come out strong. I really liked how they ended the season. They frankly had a chance to make a further run in the playoffs, right? And Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own. They are certainly the team to win that division, and starting off against the lowly Colts, I think, is a great way for them to start. The only thing that's, and you mentioned Jonathan Taylor. I think that's obviously impactful. My concerns are, I think this helps, but rookie quarterback with Richardson, he can make things happen. I think he's going to have a tough year, but you just never know. We've seen Colts be part of upsets in the past. Eric, you've been on the bad side of that. Sorry to bring it up.
You're going to have to see my therapist again now because you brought it up.
I think the real reason to wait here is they have great future value. Jacksonville does. And there's some other games that I feel like are a little bit stronger with teams that maybe don't have as strong future value. So I like it as well. Don't say like it's something you should stay away from, but I like something better. Aaron?
No, I just to piggyback on what you said, the future value is absolutely huge against Jacksonville. Week 3, they host Houston, so this isn't way out into the future. It's just 2 games away. And then they play Indianapolis in week 6. They also host them. They may or may not have Jonathan Taylor in that game. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, both of you bring up the great points. I was just going to reiterate as well. There is better value later down the line when maybe the schedule just doesn't look as appetizing. And you're going to have a team that's going to be really, really good quality team who's really going to basically contend for the number 1 seed in the AFC this year. I really feel like Jacksonville, not just because of the quality of their team and the coaching staff, but just the way their schedule sets up, I think it's going to be a lot of good W's on the schedule for them, and you could just see them run the table there. So for me, it's a wait on Jacksonville. Don't waste this bullet yet, not in week 1.
All right. So another 4.5-point favorite is the Philadephia Eagles, or 14-3, and they're on the road at New England, who was 8-9 last year. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this game?
This has upset written all over it. I'm really big on the New England Patriots. Not a lot of people, I think, are. Obviously, Vegas only had them, I think, at 7.5 wins over and under this year. I went with the over. I think that Bill Belichick has better defensive pieces than he even had last year, and they had a pretty formidable defense last year. I think Christian Gonzalez, the rookie corner, is really, really special. And Bill Belichick's already singing his praises. And for a rookie, he doesn't do that very often. So I think he's kind of surprised at the value there. I think, too, the biggest part in this whole thing is Bill O'Brien. You got a real offensive coordinator and somebody that's going to be able to play to max, strengths, ground and pound with some play action and play some stout D, and you're going to see New England win this game at the buzzer.
Wow, a New England
Wow.
outright.
That's it. Money line, baby.
Not sure I would bet this game, especially money line. And the only thing I'll say that's a little bit different than what Aaron mentioned is that while the Pats do have sometimes a home field advantage, it's usually in the colder months. They're not necessarily having it now. There's a little bit of a hangover effect, not even just for Super Bowl winners, but also Super Bowl losers to stay away from. Obviously, Philadelphia, look at their schedule. They've got some nice future value as well with a couple of gimme games later on in the season. I hate to vote to bet against Bill Belichick.
And when I compare both teams on the road to Jacksonville, I like the Jacksonville game much, much more. So, all right, the other 4.5-point favorite team is my Seattle Seahawks. They host the Rams, and I don't know if they legally should be allowed to be called the Rams because they've lost so many key players. On their defense, they lost the leader in sacks last year, Leonard Floyd. They lost the leader in interceptions, Jalen Ramsey. They lost the leader in tackles, Bobby Wagner. And they didn't sign anybody to replace these guys. They didn't even have a first-round pick in the draft. So this is a game that I would be highly disappointed if the Seattle Seahawks do not win. However, I will be the first to tell you, one of the reasons that I think the Rams will be bad this year is I do not believe their big three are going to be able to stay healthy. Kupp, Stafford, and Aaron Donald, who all missed significant time last year, but it looks like they're all healthy for this game. So, look, here's the best advice I can give you guys for this game. They host Seattle, it's future value. Seattle hosts Carolina in week 3. And take a hard look at week 7. Week 7 is a very difficult NFL Survivor week, it looks like. And Seattle hosts Arizona. Save Seattle for that game against Arizona.
Stealing my thunder, Eric.
Oh, I'm
like
so
that.
sorry.
I like that. I'm with you.
Whoa, look at this. Kumbaya.
Yeah. We see this one eye to eye. I was going to say week 7 all day with Seattle. I mean, okay. It's a no-brainer for sure. I don't even know who Seattle's backup quarterback is, and I still would be okay with them in week 7.
He's a lock.
Nice. So I agree. While I probably would be comfortable if I bet this game, betting the line and going with the Seattle at home with the 12th man to cover the spread, I don't think this is where you should go this week for your Survivor life. And the Rams will find ways to win some games this year. And
so we are midway through. I want to take a quick break and alert you guys if you've missed it. You see what Michael and I are wearing, a little FFC merch. We now have a merchandise store under every one of our videos. I'll show you it real quick. So, for example, underneath this particular video, you scroll down and you see a bunch of our merchandise. One thing I hope that you immediately see is how reasonable the prices are because we are selling these at cost. We get absolutely no profit for this, because we wanted to make it available to all of you at a reasonable price. But what's really great right now is that if you purchase 2 items before September, I guess it would be end of September 4th, you can get 20% off. You just need to click this button, redeem, and then you can go down here and just scroll down and see the different products. Quick reminder that we are running an NFL Survivor poll here at the FFC. Free to enter with a $300 prize pool. Go ahead and join it. We're going to be tracking the poll all year long. And as the numbers dwindle down, we'll be giving shout outs to players. If you participated in the poll already, all you have to do is log into your account and type in fantasyfootballconsultants.football.cbssports.com in your browser, and you'll immediately get launched into the site. However, if you have never participated in one of our Survivor polls, no problem. We'd love to have you. You just need to do two things. Sign up for a free account on cbssports.com. And I've been told that this link doesn't work if you're a new user. No problem. Email us at fantasyconsultantsinfo@gmail.com. I'll put it on the screen. We will be happy to add you to the contest. Be sure to do that soon. Don't do it like 1 day before 1 hour before the game start. All right, so it takes you to this screen once you're logged in. Go up to picks, go ahead and make picks, and then it will show you the slate of games for that particular week. Go ahead, pick your favorite team that you would want to go with. Let's say you want Seattle. You click that, you click save, boom, you're done for the week. All right, I want to go over some key rules that everybody should know for the NFL Survivor Pool. You have to make a pick of one team each week. If the team you select loses or ties that week, you are eliminated. That's it. But if your team wins, you survive the week, and you and all the other remaining survivors will pick a team the next week until the end of the season or until one contestant remains. One key component of any survivor pool is once you select an NFL team, you may not select that team again for the rest of the season. Now, this is very unlikely, but if the NFL season ends before the pool is narrowed to 10 survivors or less, we will not pay out any cash prizes. We just can't break out the cash prizes to 30 people. But that's unlikely. That has never come close to happening. But we want to put that out there. All right, here are some technical details that you need to put an alarm or reminder on your phone, because if you don't make a pick that particular week, you are automatically eliminated. If there's a case that all the remaining contestants are eliminated, that could happen if we get down to, let's say, 5 or 6 people, and then everybody gets it wrong. The pool does continue to the next week with the contestants just from that previous week reactivated. One key point: to qualify for any prizes, you must be a Fantasy Football Consultants YouTube subscriber throughout the year. So if you haven't yet, before the season starts, go ahead right now, smash the red subscribe button at the bottom of this video. It's free, and it makes you eligible for the prize pool. Speaking of the prize pool, there is a $300 prize pool. Let me be clear. There is no cost to enter this contest. The prize pool is $300. It's broken up into two components. First of all, $200 goes automatically to the lone survivor. If more than one contestant makes it through all the way to week 18, for example, let's suppose there's 2 people who survive, then the $200 will be divided equally among the remaining survivors. In that situation, both participants would take home $100. Now, there's also a $100 bonus prize for any of the winning survivor or group of survivors that make it to the end, and they enter in the YouTube comment section at least 80% of the time on the applicable NFL Survivor YouTube video for each week. So, and you got to put that comment before the game's log. So early on, I really appreciate it if people put in comments saying, this is who I think I'm going to pick, and here's why, just so we can get getting some feedback. But as it narrows down to fewer and fewer people, I can see from a competitive standpoint, you don't want to disclose your pick. So I'm fine just talking about the games and what you're considering without giving away your pick. So if, for example, 2 people survive to the end and both of them are putting the comments, then they'll share that $100, $50 each. But if one of them didn't enter the comments, then that remaining person gets the entire $100 prize pool. Let's see, we've got a few more games. We have 2 6.5-point favorites. I actually want to talk about Kansas City next. Michael?
Yeah, I think this is one to stay away from, and not just because of the future value that the Chiefs have. Obviously, some people are picking them to go back and win the Super Bowl again. I think they are on that road. They do have very strong future value, but maybe I'm not as high on Detroit as Eric is, but I think this Detroit team looked really good at the end of the season last year. Dan Campbell has done some good things for that team. Chiefs are coming off the Super Bowl win, and will feel some of the impacts of having the longer postseason, even though it's well past us at this point. Hey, I think Chiefs win this game, but I just think it's one to stay away from for a couple of reasons, including future value. Aaron, anything to add to that?
Yeah, Michael, I agree on all those points. I think future value with the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be much, much greater. And the big part of me, the reason why I believe that is that they still don't have the Chris Jones situation resolved yet. I kind of feel like this game has a tendency, or could have a tendency, of being a shootout, and whoever has the ball last wins the game. Because we obviously know that Detroit doesn't have the best defense either. So without Chris Jones on the defensive side of the ball, if I were Andy Reid, I'd really try to slow this down and maybe limit the amount of possessions for both sides, and maybe run the ball a little bit more instead of doing his high-paced, fast, score explosive plays. I think that he might expose an already kind of weakened defense by not having that big guy in the middle. He's such a disruptor.
So I'm going to just quickly agree with all you guys as far as the Kansas City pick. I'm completely out on this. I think this is the effect of the casuals, that the pick popularity is like 13%. People just go, hey, they won the Super Bowl last year. I want to make sure I get through the first round. But don't sell Detroit short. They were 8-2.
Dangerous.
Ended the year 8-2. So besides, guys, can you imagine? This is the first game of the year. This Thursday. How embarrassing would it be to get eliminated from NFL Survivor on the Thursday, the first game of the year? You're already out. Can't have that happen. All right, so let's talk about Minnesota, who's also a 6.5 point favorite at home against Tampa Bay. Aaron, tell us about this game.
So obviously, we, a few shows earlier, we did our over and unders, and we pretty much pounded, I think, Minnesota for being the luckiest team in the NFL. But they won't need luck. This Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is just absolutely terrible. They have no offense. Baker Mayfield, I do not trust at all. While he might deliver a good ball, but then have 4 terrible throws after that, and 2 of them will be interceptions. So I kind of think that Minnesota will definitely take control of this, and Kirk Cousins is going to take care of the ball where Baker Mayfield's not. And this, to me, is an easy W for Minnesota.
Michael?
I don't disagree, actually. I think this is an intriguing pick, with the future value of Minnesota being really kind of low. And I know there's another pick that I feel is very similar. The game's in Minnesota. Brian Flores at the defensive coordinator position, I think, makes them a stronger team this year than they were in the past. And so I really like to see that defense shore up. And so, Baker Mayfield had that one win for the Rams last year where he came in and, did something that everybody thought wasn't going to happen.
But it was against the Raiders, Michael. Let's be honest.
It hurt some people's survivor lives, I guess. Eric, I want to hear your thoughts.
It's Minnesota's best game of the season. So you have to decide, am I going to be okay in my survivor pool? And you want to know the rules of your survivor pool for how many picks you're going to need to make for the entire year, because our survivor pool is 1 a week. So you're making 18 teams. But other survivor pools, maybe you double up, and are you okay without going with Minnesota? You may not think Minnesota is very good. And so if you do, maybe you're okay with that. But I totally get why people would pick Minnesota here. Let's talk about Washington versus Arizona. This game is a 16% pick popularity. Arizona, who I have in the preseason been very vocal that I think they're the worst team in the NFL. Las Vegas agrees in the sense that 200-1 to win the Super Bowl. And I asked, why so low? Right? The 200-1 to win the Super Bowl. They have lost 17 of the last 22 games, but this year's Arizona team is worse. Their top rushers, J.J. Watt and Zach Allen, are gone. They just outright released DeAndre Hopkins. You wonder, guys, are they trying? I mean, are they, or what are they trying to do? Are they trying to win? Kyler Murray is hurt, and by far their most competent quarterback on their roster, Colt McCoy, they just cut. They brought in Joshua Dobbs with very little NFL experience and doesn't even know the playbook. I don't know if he'll be ready for week 1. They're left with rookie Clayton Tune. There is, I think I know who they want to be their quarterback. I think his name is Caleb Williams.
They are trying, Eric. They're trying to lose. They're trying to sandbag. So when in doubt, pick the team against Arizona until Kyler Murray's back.
This is Washington's best game on its schedule. So kind of back to the conversation about, I feel like you need Washington to get by. Here's the time to pick them. I am a little nervous about the pick popularity. There was this kind of buzz a little bit about what's going on in Washington with the ownership change and with the Eric Bieniemy having some, kind of challenges with some of the players. I think it's a little overblown. This to me is a nice, easy week 1 win. If I had to pick 2 teams this week, I think I'd pick with Washington and Minnesota. So I like it.
You've got to decide if you're going to put your survivor life, you can't just pick against Arizona. You have to be comfortable with Washington. And I have to warn all of you out there, my comfort level for Washington went way down with the fact that they may lose their best offensive player and best defensive player. You got to watch the news. Terry McLaurin, wide receiver, looks like he's not going to play as of we're filming. And on the defensive line, Chase Young, who missed most of last year, may not play in this game. So I want to follow those news, but just a word of warning if you're going to put your survivor life on Washington. Let's go to the last game. It is the Baltimore Ravens at home against Houston. They are a 10-point favorite, and not surprisingly, as the biggest favorite, they have the highest pick popularity, somewhere around 30%. Michael, tell us about this game.
Yeah, I mean, so Baltimore is, I think, people have gotten used to, doesn't blow teams out. At least they haven't for a few years now. They just find ways, they comfortably will win sometimes when they've been strong. And obviously they were missing Lamar Jackson for a big part of the season last year, and that really hurt. I think they're going to be good this year. I'm a big Harbaugh fan. And this is a nice first week of the season. They're going to win this game. I don't know how I feel about that spread. I think I'd have a hard time betting that spread, but straight up, I think this is perhaps the most locked game straight up of the ones that we're talking about. Texans have DeMeco Ryans now at the helm. They have CJ Stroud at the helm. Who knows what that's going to result in. And I don't think it's a win in week 1 against the tough Baltimore Ravens, but pick popularity is a reason to wait. Future value is a reason to wait. The Minnesota and Washington games are a reason to wait. So
yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think too is this is kind of a big sweat game a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because DeMeco Ryan is not a joke coach. The dude can coach. And I think the best part of let's keep in mind, Houston was not embarrassing on the defensive side of the ball last year. I think they were close to being a top 20 defense last year with not very good, capable defensive coach now that they have as their head coach. So they upgraded, obviously, with getting Will Anderson on that side of the ball in the draft. I think their side of the ball, his side of the ball defense will do really, really well. We'll keep this game very close. But at the end of the day, you will see Baltimore come out on top, but it's going to be a sweat for about 3 quarters before they decide to maybe put one last score on the board and win the game 7 to 10 points. But I'm with Michael. If I was betting this game on the spread, I'd definitely take Houston in the points. So the defense will keep it close for the vast majority of the game. What's also keep in mind too is that Lamar Jackson did miss a significant portion of the season last year. This is a new offensive scheme. They are going to try to open it up and air it out a little bit more. I think he has some really, really good weapons, and both Odell Beckham has looked good. He's obviously not a burner anymore, but he's going to be a really good possession style wide receiver. The Zay Flowers kid from Boston College, by all accounts, is just absolutely lighting the world on fire, has all kinds of separation, but I just don't know how accurate Lamar Jackson's going to be. So to me, this game's going to be a ground and pound on both sides. It's going to be a defensive warfare, and it's going to be closer than you'd like, but it's going to be a win for Baltimore.
So we agree, but I'm going to figure out a way to say we disagree, because if this was a line, I would probably give the 10 points. I think Baltimore is a significantly better team than Houston. I also think Houston, with a rookie quarterback, is his very first NFL game. It's going to take him some time. I mean, obviously, toward the end of the year, C.J. Stroud will be a better quarterback than he will be at the beginning of the year. And I'm not going to repeat what Aaron said, but I'll just add in the health of Baltimore is J.K. Dobbins. And I think that that's going to be a huge. And if I'm wrong, and Michael and Aaron are right, and this is a closer game, man, it's nice to have Justin Tucker on your side in a close game. Now, I want to address so we already know there's a major strike based on the pick popularity. I want to talk a little bit about the future value. They clearly have future value, but it isn't huge. It isn't like Kansas City or some of these other teams. Most importantly, week 3, they host Indianapolis, who won't have Jonathan Taylor. So that's a cost, folks, if you want to go Baltimore. So there it is. That is our 8 teams. It is time for us to come down and make our selections. Aaron, as the special guest, I will let you take the lead. Who is
drum roll, please?
Who is
it's going to be Minnesota for me. I'm going to take the luckiest team in America last year to be lucky one more time on week 1.
Michael?
I'm really tempted to go with Washington here. I just think their future value is even lower than Minnesota's, but Minnesota's future value is pretty low, and they're a better team. So I'm going to pick Minnesota as well.
Oh, it's too bad you didn't go with Washington, because we would have had 3 different teams. I strongly considered going Jacksonville, but honestly, with about the same amount of future value, I get a lot more confidence in a win with Baltimore. So I'm going to go with Baltimore. I get it. I understand that there's high pick popularity, and I'm giving up some future value. I mentioned the week 3 in against hosting Indianapolis, but there's a lot of other great games in week 3, so I'm okay with that. They do play at Arizona in week 8. They may or may not have Kyler Murray. So I'm missing out on that. But guys, my take on it is I know the least in week 1 about anything else. So I am going to take a more conservative route. You got to make your move, and I will make my move down the road of not obviously always picking the team with I as favorite, but it's this particular week, and the fact that Baltimore doesn't have as much future value as you would think. So guys, as usual, a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, continue to check in the comment section. We'll pin a comment. So if Aaron or Michael or I officially change our pick because of some news, something else happens between now and then that changes our opinion, again, that's what you guys should be doing, watching the news right up to game time. We'll put a pinned comment, let you know what we're doing. Again, remind you, please check out our NFL Survivor poll. Join. It's going to be a lot of fun as we talk about it throughout the season. To join the pool, you have to be a subscriber. So if you haven't yet, smash that subscriber button. Until next time, take care, everybody. We'll put 2 videos up on the screen we think that you'll enjoy.